Another massive day and another massive win for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Ole's Manchester United against AC Milan. And it was a edgy game because we always knew that these games are going to be so important with Theo Hernandez coming back in and then Calhanoglu coming in for AC Milan, and obviously it's Zlatan Ibrahimovic coming in. Even though it's for a few minutes, it is always going to be deadly with his mentality. So we need to be in our best performing time, and that was absolutely so well, mainly from our defending unit, and then from our attackers has been a bit more dodgy. Bruno Fernandes getting least of chances, then Paul Pogba being introduced, and what a finish from Paul Labile Pogba. This is absolutely world class. Now you call him whatever you want. There can be many hatred for his player. The talent he has, the product he gives, the quality he has is unmatched and is world class. And it's no surprises that Kante and Paul Pogba getting a world class performance within a week time, and they're going to play for France. So it's always going to be something legit to be expected from Paul Pogba coming back from injury. So he was not started today. You could understand the reason, because he has a bit of less match fitness going before going into this game, and so he was started from the bench. It was absolutely necessary because Marcus Rashford was struggling and was having a niggle, and so he was put in left wing. It was a bit of an unnatural position, you could ask, but he has played in that role, played in that right wing position, so it's not going to be new to adapt to him. So he played well there. We talked about that left wing position of Paul Pogba a lot more times in the videos that we have been making for the past a year or so. So it was not new for Paul Pogba to adapt to that position. So it was 1-0 for Manchester United away from home. We got an important away goal, and 2-1 we progressed to the quarterfinals. We'll be talking about that in the video when brief. So without wasting any time, let's get this started. So the quick sum up, what were the lineups today? It was the same expected lineup with Pogba, Van der Beek actually available for the squad, and Edinson Cavani missing out on that last day after getting a knock in training. So Donny Van der Beek and Paul Pogba, you could expect them to start, but you can also understand that they are just back from injury. You can't straight away put them in the starting 11. It can be costly. So it has to be some of a edgy game, as we mentioned, that it has to be some tight games. There's no spaces you should be giving to Calhanoglu and Theo Hernandez, so you shouldn't be taking them lightly. So it was the regular partnership of Fred and McTominay. You could argue about Fred and McTominay, but it has been answered in the previous videos. They have been consistent for the past few. There has been one of those actual pivot partnership that's working for quite a while now. So we should be actually sticking with them. And Pogba can be coming in there, so there's not big doubt about his quality and talent that he possesses. So Pogba can be coming in. So Fred and McTominay was a fair and good select for this game, and they were actually pretty well. We were in that zebra kit, so you could always say, you could not argue about that green kit being so cursed enough for the quarterfinal stuff. So zebra kit, and we actually move on, and for the first 10 to 15 minutes we were actually so brilliant. We have that attacking intent when he was trying to go forward, and Milan's passing was actually frustrating us, especially me. It was frustrating me because they are actually smart players. Those players, and his manager has been playing that style very smartly, and you actually reckon that these kind of spaces shouldn't be given to AC Milan players. They're just flicking. Those 1-2s has been so brilliant to watch. From a neutral perspective, from after an opposition, it's so frustrating to watch. So I was so pissed at Fred in the first half, because he was actually having a terrible first touch and was giving the ball away so much. So is McTominay and Van Bissaka. You could say that Daniel James and Van Bissaka on the right hand side actually looks like null. Everything comes from the left hand side. Marcus Rashford and Luke Shaw. So Marcus Rashford also had a off game today, because when you talk about Daniel James and footballing brain together, it doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. Greenwood was free in the box, and he was actually taking down. He could have easily squared it to Greenwood, and it was a 1v1 situation for Greenwood and Donnarumma. He tries to take on the defender and tries to go past Tomori, and gets fouled. And if you ask me, it is a decent shot for a penalty, but still it shouldn't be given. Actually, it isn't given in a normal day. So it was something, a decent footballing brain if you have, he could have squared it to Mason Greenwood. If it was some other player, he could have squared it to Greenwood. And you know that how Greenwood is deadly in that 1v1 situation. So it was a big shot from me. If in the future, if we have a chance to actually record my live sessions watching the game, the live streams, you could actually know how fucking pissed off I was, because you should just find those it was a poor first half. Everyone was poor. Lindelof, Maguire, Luke Shaw, and Van Bissaka. Van Bissaka was a bit of 50-50. He was struggling to go forward, and he was, a bit more 50-50 in the defense as well. So it was a bit dodgy. They were getting some chances, and their passes were actually so frustrating. The 1-2s were frustrating, and I was shouting here saying, how the fuck are they actually passing like that? How are we letting them pass like that? How are you letting them be much more smarter and you look like a clown there? So we need to sort that out. And the first half was absolutely abysmal. And so second half, you need to have that mentality shift. You need to have it. So Fred needs to be taken off. He was so piss poor. One of the worst performances in this United shirt, you could say. Under Mourinho, under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, you could say one of the worst performances, because he was consistent for quite a lot of games, and now he was piss poor in this one of those important games in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's reign. So Fred has to be taken out and Paul Pogba needs to be coming in. But it was an emergency situation. Marcus Rashford did go out and Paul Pogba did come in for that left wing role, and it was actually an easy thing to adapt, and it was a bit more frustrating. Actually frustrating, because one of those, Fred and McTominay, is actually staying in the pitch, and we have to watch more of them actually. So talking about that goal, it was actually a messy goal, which was actually started from the right hand side, and Fred, Bruno, Pogba actually trying to do something, and it wasn't working, and Bruno at the end leaves it, and Bruno in the end leaves it to Paul Pogba and puts a bit of a dummy and strikes past Donnarumma. Great strike, and it was actually a moment. It was actually the moment, and I was so happy to actually see. And that Zebra kid and Pogba is actually working again, and it has to be him. It has to be him. Paul Pogba from France, world class, fantastic finish. Well deserved for him, because he was actually that momentum shift. He was actually that mentality shift that I was talking about in the first half. I've been posting on Instagram saying that we need a mentality shift, because we can't be playing the same thing, because if it remains 0-0, we are going to be out of the Europa League. So we actually anyhow have to score that first goal, and then it can be much more pressure on AC Milan. They can actually get those bodies forward to attack, and we can hit them on the counter very easily. So that has to be the plan, and they were panicking. They're actually more composed when Zlatan Ibrahimovic comes in the pitch, and he did come up and he did provide that moment of magic, and it was a great header. He was looking for that spare man in our defense who is actually shorter than him, and he can try and climb up and put that header in the back of the net. So he targeted Luke Shaw there. So Maguire can be actually the one who can actually mark him. Calhanoglu actually picks Zlatan Ibrahimovic, and he climbs, hits it, and a great save from Dean Henderson. That has to be the magic. That has to be the moment. If you could call about that Paul Pogba goal as a moment, and this has to be equally judged, because that was a tremendous save. That was a world-class save. You could say that was a millisecond reaction by Dean Henderson, and it was actually so helpful. If it was 1-1, we are actually going to penalties, and you know that how bad we are under pressure situations. So it was always going to be that 1-0 lead that has to be staying intact. So we are trying to protect that. Our defense has been absolutely brilliant and rock solid for the past few games. So it was actually a good thing that we actually didn't concede 1-0, 2-1, and it was absolutely brilliant game to watch. Obviously, be winning. It should be absolutely enjoyable and fabulous. And ladies and gentlemen, Spurs have lost to Dynamo Zagreb 3-0 and they are out of the Europa League in the aggregate of 3-2. How big a clown can Jose Mourinho be? We have talked about him very, very much, and it actually is toxic to talk about him again and again, and it was a big loss. So it was a big loss for Tottenham Hotspur, and they deserve it. They deserve it. They deserve it for their 6-1 defeat. So I'm happy. I'm happy. Jose Mourinho lost, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer actually won. So LU, AGG guys would be actually crying out in the corner with their bed sheets on. So it's actually a good, good sign to see. And we move. We are actually moving on to Sunday on the quarterfinals against Leicester in the FA Cup. So we have no time to prepare. It's everything coming quick and fast. So Luke Shaw has been selected for England squad. Big kudos to him. He has to be starting because he has been one of those best left backs in the Premier League this season, undoubtedly. So he has to select him. No other choice. Van Bissaka, you could always say there was always a feeling that he won't be selected because he is actually shit in attack, and defensively he can be very well at times and can be dodgy at times too. So it has to be Reece James and Kieran Trippier. Obviously Reece James has been doing so well for Chelsea. The Chelsea progressing in the Champions League. Okay, Champions, don't talk about Champions League now. So if you like the video, please hit that like button, and if you get to subscribe, please hit that subscribe button. Please share this to Manchester United fans. Hey, progress to the quarterfinals of the Europa League. It's still Europa League, but it's a big concern. Top 4 is actually so secure in the league for Manchester United. We have a big big chance in the FA Cup too. If we beat Leicester, if we have to rotate Amad Traore, Amad Diallo coming in there, or Eric Bailly starting there, it can be a bit of a rotation. Paul Pogba, Van der Beek can be starting there. So we should be taking care about that, and it has to be something brave enough to do that for Ole, because Donny van der Beek has been sitting at the bench for God knows for how long. So he needs to fit in there, or it's like adamant in his actual playing style, actual players who actually win him those games, not just fit in those players just because there's pressure from every side, pressure from those fans. Go as it is. There can be some useless substitution. There can be some badass performances. Everything can be coming in. Ups and downs will be coming in. We are actually doing very well. Dean Henderson, a big shout out to him, to appreciation too, because it's his 11th clean sheet in his 18th game as a Manchester United player whenever he started with the club. So it's actually pretty impressive. No one is going to talk about it because it's not actually a negative thing that Manchester United is holding up now, because it's a positive. No one will actually talk about it other than Statman Dave, other than actual reports from United channels of Twitter. So they are actually doing it very well. So we'll be meeting in the next video. Until then, stay home, stay safe. Goodbye.